say. We've got Strasbourg Steve, we've got Judge Mo, we've got Orchie, we've got Deji, all to come on and have their say. Welcome back, gentlemen. Happy New Year to those of you that I have not seen or spoken to. I'm going to go to Steve versus the victor today. 2-1 win, 5 wins on the bounce, and another big team that you've gone to their home ground, outclassed and won.
Yeah. First half was a lot better than the second half. I thought second half Spurs with those subs improved a lot. The pressure was relentless, but the thing is, pressure is only as good as your quality. That kind of is. I don't know if that makes sense, but like they were like physically they were causing us problems, right? We had to clear a lot of headers, had to make a lot of blocks. Like defensively, we had a lot to deal with. But the difference is that the quality of Spurs, it did go up when Son, Madison, and Yves Bissouma came on, but it was I don't know. We done well. I just thought against a better opponent in better form. I don't know if I want us to have this approach necessarily in games forward, and then the subs were also a bit confusing for me, but I can kind of understand it because we have the game against Arsenal on Tuesday. So I kind of get it. But yeah, I thought overall very good. Attacking wise in the first half, maybe could have had another goal. Isak had a pretty poor miss, but made up for it with the nice redirected shot off of Dragusin. So yeah, we done well today, man. We done well. Yeah, we're in really good form. I don't know if we'll make Champions League because I do think not having any quality transfers in summer will make kind of set us back. But we have a January to possibly go and get someone. But yeah, I thought we were good. Today. I thought we'd maybe score a bit more, but Spurs played a lot better than I thought. A lot better, particularly second half.
Yeah, definitely in the second. I felt if the first half and the second half were identical in terms of possession and dominance from Newcastle, you probably would have scored some more goals, and Spurs improved with those substitutions. But as you say, though, job done. You rested some players early. You got big game against Arsenal midweek, as you mentioned, to try and start progressing to that final. Deji, from your point of view as a Tottenham fan, it's another no win at home now since the 3rd of November. Another defeat. Break it down for us, mate.
Yeah, bro. I think from a Spurs perspective, given the lineup that we had out, I actually thought I'm pleasantly surprised we only lost 2-1. I mean, really and truly, if Newcastle had the kahunas and had a killer instinct or killer mentality, you should not be walking away from the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium with less than 5 goals. So the positive is that we only lost 2-1. We were never going to win the game. We were never going to draw the game. I was surprised we scored in the game. And I was even surprised that we wrapped Newcastle up. But the truth is, Newcastle didn't even switch on the keys to the engine. Do you know what I mean? It was light work for them. And the reason why I'm pissed off is because when in football, there are opportunities for you to feast. And there's times when there's famine. I'm more pissed off about earlier in the season when Spurs needed to get the job done. When we should have beaten Newcastle at St. James's Park. When we should have beaten Arsenal at home. When we should have beaten Brighton. Now we are sitting here having lost 10 bloody games in 20. We are relegation fodder. We have lost 10 games.
My team would never.
And I said it after the Brighton game. We could potentially lose 18 games this season. This brother Postecoglou, because I know he watches your show, Terry. Stop. You're not 007. Stop doing Casino Royale with my club. Archie, that we conceded, that second goal, is because you've got a centre mid playing at centre back. Where will this brother learn? And, I'm not going to take this, we've got injuries. You make your own luck. When things go well, it's because you're doing the right things. When things go bad, it's because you were doing the wrong things. You brought on this bad luck upon yourself. We are crap. Newcastle was a disgrace. I like Strasbourg. I love you as a brother, Steve. But your team, you're not legit. you're not a legit team. Any legit team thumps that team. Let me tell you, if the shoe was on the other foot, we would have put 8 or 9 past you. You should be ashamed of that performance. I was hoping you were going to do something against Arsenal on Wednesday. This chatting rubbish, shaking your bum, that you rested the guys for us. You're not doing jack, mate. You might as well give up your position in the Carabao Cup. Get out and let a real team play the final. Because for me, if you were legit, you should have pumped Spurs today and you were disgraceful.
I've got to say, I don't know. I don't agree with everything that Deji's saying there, mate. I've got a feeling, though, both teams clearly had an eye on midweek games, because that's the only way I can understand, the selection, the starting selection. Because, I was shocked to see Timo Werner starting. But then at the same time, I do feel, I'm sorry, Deji, you cannot, discount. There is not a single team in the Premier League right now, maybe Man City, but they've had several players back. There's not another team. They've got so many first-team starters who are out, who are key. And, like Odebear, I think that's the player that's the name you were looking for, Terry, earlier. You were talking about on the left wing.
But he's not.
So we bought Odebear in the summer. He played about 2 games and the guy got injured, for crying out loud. Like, I agree. I think Timo Werner is the biggest waste of space. But at the same time, if he plays Son and then Son gets injured for Wednesday, then, what he hasn't got any other choices. So I do think that Ange had an eye on Wednesday. I think he was trying to protect some of the players, so at least we will have, a bit of a chance. I still don't think we've got much of a chance against Liverpool, obviously. But with the current players that we've got, I'm just hoping that obviously by the time we play the second leg, basically our defense is back, Romero's back, Van der Ven's back, hopefully. But did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you a question. So you said, who did he rest for Wednesday? Look, me and you, we're good friends, so we're not going to fall out today. The 3 players,
Deji's friends with everybody.
The 3 players that let's say hypothetically speaking, you're right. He rested Son, he's been crap all season. Basuma's been crap all season, and James Maddison, who's been crap all season. So, to be honest with you, that was our strongest possible lineup we put out.
Yeah, bro. But what other alternative does he have? Who does he have that, like you say, Maddison, for me, he's been shit all season. I agree with you. But then there's been times when he's had the performance. He's like the only player that he's got in his that's available to him. So and his excuse the last month or so is the fact that he hasn't been able to rotate any players because of the amount of injuries that we've got, which you can't argue against because it is true. He's not making up excuses. That is the reality. That is the fact. Even like some of the players that we've bought in the summer have been out injured. So it's, I'm not saying it's an excuse. I always felt that in the summer we needed to do more business. We needed to buy a couple of more centre backs, and we need proven, ready-made players, not youngsters that are going to hopefully come good in a season's time or by the end of the season or whatever. We needed some players ready to take that team to another at least another gear up. But we didn't do that. Levy didn't do that, and I don't know if that's Ange's fault. But we know for the last, 10, 20 years, 23 years, I think, Enoch and Levy's been there. They haven't, like even at peak Poch times, they have not backed. Yeah, they've bought players, they've spent money, but they always go and spend it on youngsters. They always go or half the time they buy a whole load of crap. Like I still can't believe that we went and got Timo Werner.
You doubled down on the signing of Werner.
Yeah, and I didn't understand. I was like ripping my hair out when I saw that. Why didn't we go and get Eze from Crystal Palace? Why didn't we go and get, there are so many other players that we could have and we should have gone after, but we don't. We buy one. All right, we bought in Solanke, and it's like Levy's like, all right, I'll sign 1 or 2 players for like 50 million, 60 million, 40 million, and then we're just going to get a bunch of kids in. Like Bergvall today, I thought played really well. Bergvall was a big part of the first goal. Yeah, I
He
think
actually
both
shrugged
sides
off a
played
run
well.
at J7 and then got it to
He's
Poro.
got a 6.
Yeah, I hear that. I was going to go to Mo in a second here on today's game. A few comments here first. First one says, "Nah, Deji, you brought the bad luck on us. You are the one shaking your bum, telling everyone we are winning the league after 10 games."
In defense of Deji, last season's sins are not.
Wow, Jerome, you're too kind. You're
In
too
fairness,
kind.
Deji, I will say, Deji, this is why I love you, bro. You came on this show one week, and so I watched you on your watch along, calling your manager a fat pig, and he has to be sacked instantly. A day later, you're telling me you're winning a cup treble this season. I'm like, what's going on? It's crazy. If the ball hits the ref and leads to a goal, is it a foul? If the ball hits the referee, well, no, if the ball hits the referee at any point in the game, it's a foul. The thing about the handball is, if it hits the hand and goes directly in, they disallow it. But in the build up to a goal, as long as it isn't deliberate, it's not handball. If it's not handball, it's not handball. I just don't see what the argument here is. It's annoying and you don't want to see it, but it's not a handball. Mo, now that Chelsea have bottled a freaking massive points gap on Newcastle, will you stop working for them? Big up, Mo. Ha ha ha, is what Jay says. Aside from that super chat, Mo, what did you make of the game today?
Spurs played very well. I thought up to their level, up to the players they have, the quality they have. They battled against a team that is just much better than them. Spurs were not going to win this game anyway. I know that Spurs fans are upset. They haven't won at home. They haven't done anything lately, but that at the current moment, that is the level that where Spurs are at. And I think they had a very good second half. Ange Postecoglou is trying his best, to be honest, looking at the players. Having Jed Spence at center back, a guy that doesn't have a lot of first team football in his career.
Great.
Anyway.
Spence.
And they're done all right. And people are expecting me to come here and just bash it on Spurs. I asked Orchi the other day, what is the point of Spurs? And I'm being serious, by the way. The difference between me and everyone else, I'm looking from outside. I thought that Spurs are a top 6 club, and Spurs are a top 6 club financially, but it doesn't look like it on the pitch. Because even though Ange Postecoglou play good football and everything, I'm going to hold the same. If I'm talking about Man United and Arsenal, Chelsea, we need to hold Spurs to the same standards, or we just accept that Spurs are a mediocre club. That these results, having a manager still at the helm of the club without a win at home for 7 games, it warrants a sack.
You're right.
But he's not going to get sacked. He's not going to get sacked. Why he's not going to get sacked? Because he's playing good football, because some people are entertained, because he hasn't been backed. But some clubs don't have these standards, and Spurs don't. The reality is, Spurs today had a good game. Second half, they were on top of Newcastle. They pinned Newcastle. And that is the level of Spurs. And I think we need to accept it that what happened in the beginning of last season is a flash in the pan. What happened under Poch might never happen again in our lifetime, unless the ownership change, as Ochi said, unless they change the culture of the club, and unless they change these players' mentality, same as Man United. And
AKA they need a takeover.
Broski, Spurs are a mediocre club as a team. They might be a big club in revenue. They might have one of the best. I've been to the stadium. It is absolutely state of the art. But that's about it. They reach a Champions League final. Spurs are a mediocre club. When we are sitting here, when the guy hasn't won in years, and he's still going to stay at the club waiting for the cup or whatever, this is the level. Spurs fans now, all they want is to see armpits, trophies, no matter what the trophy is. Carabao Cup, FA Cup, that's Spurs level. And I'm sorry for Orchi. I'm sorry for Deji. This is the level now. You have to accept it. You know what? When you are a mediocre club, you have to acceect it at some point.
I get what you're saying, Mo, and I do agree with a lot of the stuff that you're saying. The frustrating thing is, though, it's actually, you know, in any part of life, it's leadership that, you know, trickles down. And until, like we keep saying, I think we're practically saying the same thing. I think unless either, and I don't know whether it's Enoch or whether it's Levy who runs the club that way, because it might be Levy who might be deciding not to spend the money. Maybe there is money to spend, or maybe there is a way like Spurs could actually spend a bit more than, I mean, we are supposedly one of the best run clubs in the Premier League.
Your revenue is top 3 in the world.
You spent money, but on the wrong players.
Yeah,
Man
exactly.
United.
But this is what I'm trying to say. Like, we're always in the last, when you look at even at Poch period and during, you know, and since then, it's like all we do is we buy 1 or 2 players where, like, you know, the amount of money, I think we put, what was it, our record for, what's his name, that French guy?
Richarlison, Tanguy Ndombele.
Yeah,
He's playing well at Nice.
Ndombele and stuff. So we do spend money on 1 or 2 players like that, but then they either end up being crap or it doesn't work out. Whereas when you look at teams like the Arsenals, the Man Cities, the Manchester Uniteds, when they have to do a rebuild, they do go out there on also what Chelsea did. They go out there and they spend that sort of money on 5 or 6 players if they need it.
But you could throw us in that convo as well with Isak.
Yeah.
Ali, Bruno.